another edition of Gaughan Racing. Brendan is cracking up because Ann behind
I love
the
Ann.
glass
I love Ann. I love her. I love the crew, the pit crew.
Our whole pit crew. Our pit crew, we got the best pit crew. Although Denny Hamlin had a pretty good
pit crew. He could not complain about him this week.
No, he could not.
And the pit crew can't complain. They are catching somebody, not somebody, but somebody.
Well, keep it. Catching,
you know what I like? It works in the two box we put on the podcast. When I point that way, it actually works. Like it goes the right direction. Can I just say though, catching and passing are two different things, as Kyle Larson found out this past weekend he did
at Dover. So good to be back in the studio. I actually was up at Dover or out at Dover. Where was I? Out at Dover, up at Dover, over at Dover.
Up and over.
Know. It's up and over.
Up and over.
I was at Dover last weekend. It was a great weekend. Amazing, beautiful day on Sunday at Dover. Weather nice. I mean, it's pretty exciting for Dover because, they're used to running that race on Monday.
Hey, listen, Martin Truex always prays for rain because he is the Monday master. But, great week. You and I talked, and I said, it's Dover. There's going to be rain. He said, there's no rain in the forecast. No rain in the forecast. And I think I texted you Saturday, hey, how's that no rain in the forecast going? But Sunday was beautiful, and Denny Hamlin was beautiful on the racetrack. He was beautiful on pit road. And
he made sure that for the second year in a row, we didn't have a Truex family sweep of the weekend.
Ryan Truex won again. That was awesome.
Has won back-to-back Dover Xfinity races. Of course, Martin and Ryan swept the weekend last year.
Yes, they did.
Martin had a great cun and just came up a couple of spots short.
And on Saturday, got to give a little love to Fast Pasta, Anthony Alfredo, having a hell of his last 3-4 weeks have been phenomenal. He was third in the Xfinity race, Talladega, sixth in our Cup car at Talladega. He goes home with the $100,000 bonus. Riley Herbst was in position.
Oh, Riley had it. And I don't know what happened other than I saw his car crashed, and I didn't know if he got some help.
I talked to Riley, talking to his daddy is talking to his daddy is like talking to most mommies where, your child can do no wrong. And that is Troy's version on his baby boy. Talked to Riley. He made a mistake. He got roughed up for it. And it cost him the $100,000. But Riley's doing great also this year. He's been having a phenomenal time. But Anthony Alfredo brings home the $100,000. Nice job, Anthony. And his lines, this dude has got some one-liners. He's got the dude wipes thing, and he's doing the skid mark free and all that.
He made a dude wipes comment in the media center. I can't even remember what it was.
It's so good. He has got it down.
I literally sat there. I was sitting off in a little side room on my computer,
you heard it.
And I could hear it. And as soon as he said it, and I can't even remember exactly what he said, the first person I thought of was you and your dude wipes comments here.
It bums me out because I could have such fun with that. But, Xfinity, all these Xfinity guys get a bonus when they say as fast as Xfinity Internet. But Anthony goes, yeah, our car was definitely not as fast as Xfinity Internet. But you know what? We won the $100,000. We got it done. I go, it's the first guy I've heard say in a like a double negative, we weren't
that
as fast.
That ought to give him actually a bonus.
The way he put
that's
like
a boost to Xfinity Internet,
See?
Right?
Yeah, I dug it. So nice job.
Did we just get paid for saying that?
No, we don't. I was an Xfinity driver. Hey, wait, I was on an Xfinity deal. Do I still get that if I throw out that?
Can you get us on that deal?
I need to.
We can talk about.
I still got phone numbers of some of the big wigs over there. Come on, let's see if we can get a little
about them all they want to if we got a bonus out of that. So
we'll switch the hotel.
Well, speaking of bonusing, the guy who actually got the bonus for everything was Denny Hamlin. Got his third win of the year. I don't know if he was the best car, but he was certainly one of the three best cars. I don't think there's any question about that.
Best pit crew, one of the best cars,
and they race for him. Got him
out
team. Front. And then he really, Kyle Larson talked about this, he really played defensive driving. Because Larson gained on him, and then finally Denny was able to take his line away.
I listened to people talk about this car, and look, air blocking has been something that has been going on since Richard Petty. Okay, let's just start with that, since the 80s. But the air blocking is a little bit more nuanced now, and Denny did a brilliant job as a professional race car driver doing your job, what you're paid to do, and Denny is what, regardless of all the jokes we make, occasionally about Denny and his temper and, this and that, Denny is one of the best to do it. And air blocking takes a talent. And you have to guess where you think the guy's going to go. The guy in the back has to guess where he's going to go. Kyle Larson, of course, we know wants the outside. Denny shadows the outside and takes away that air. Kyle goes down, loses some ground. Next lap, they flop. Denny did a brilliant job of just taking enough air away so that Kyle could get there. But as you said at the start of the show, getting there's one thing, passing him is another.
And I think he was able to also, both with the help from his spotter and being able to use his rearview mirror, he knew where Larson wanted to run.
Yes,
And
that's
he
what I
knew
said.
where Larson
You knew
was gaining
Larson's
on
gaining
him.
and his
So-
spotter's telling him that. His spotter's saying Larson's ringing the top, gaining on you. So he went and took that air.
And Denny's car was good enough that he could run in those spots too and not lose a lot of ground. So.
Well, and remember, this is also Denny's got he's got cojones like no other. He guaranteed a win on his podcast earlier in the week before the race. I mean, you want to talk about calling your shot? That's a hell of a call. Way to go. Way to put your money where your mouth was, and he did it, man.
I mean, right now, I mean, if you're Denny Hamlin, I mean, back-to-back weeks, you could win as a car owner 1 week, you win as a driver, and before that, he won as a driver. I mean, he's got 3 wins as a driver. He's got 1 win as a car owner already this year, so he knows he's locked into the playoffs. He knows one of the cars he owns is locked into the playoffs. I mean, he's kind of riding high right now, and we really talked about how we thought it was kind of a 2-person battle for the championship. It's a 3-person battle right now. Byron, Larson, and Hamlin have completely, in my opinion, separated themselves from
Hamlin,
the pack.
What do we always say about Hamlin when it comes down?
Well, I know.
He's got to finish it now. He's once again, he's one of the strongest in the regular season. Now he's got to learn to keep that peak through the playoffs.
All right, well, let's look at some of the numbers because he actually had great returns this week, despite being a favorite. Plus 700 to win the race. He was plus 220 for a top 3, plus 120 in his only head-to-head against Kyle Larson, plus 290. Really good return
in Group
there
A.
in Group A.
Yeah, but the Group A matchup was it was stellar who you're going against.
He brought Toyota home with a plus 150. Championship odds are not going to change. 10-1 is what it's going to stay until he makes the playoffs.
Now, 400.
And 400. Yeah, he opened at 10-1.
Yeah.
He's 400 now. Look, you're not going to get any better numbers on Denny Hamlin at all than that. So huge weekend there for Denny Hamlin pulling that off. And his 3 wins this year: Bristol, Richmond, and Dover. They're all relatively short tracks. But, there's a lot of those that'll be in the playoffs,
but diabolically different ones. Bristol, the high banks; Richmond, the flat track; Dover, the monster, the concrete mile, high bank, different style tracks. I guess you say Bristol and Dover probably the 2 most common.
And he ran very well at Martinsville, too. And keep in mind, we're going to go back to Bristol and Martinsville in the playoffs.
And where are we going this week? Kansas? Who won this race last year? Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, Denny is definitely solid on these mile-and-a-half tracks as well. So taking a look at the rest of our top 10, Kyle Larson was second. He came in, was a plus 130 for a top 3, and Martin Truex Jr. plus 150. So no big surprises there, but there are several, I think, big races for Kyle Busch.
Needed that.
Started on the pole, finished 4th. Best run of the year right there for that team. Chase Elliott backed up a win from a couple of weeks ago, comes up, gets a top 5. Now, 2 guys who I think we really have to take our hats off to: Noah Gragson coming in 6th, and Daniel Hemrick. Was he sporting South Point colors?
They have the little sticker.
Sticker. Well, the South Point sticker.
That's right.
Came in a 9th. So Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman were 7 and 8, and Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs Ty Gibbs has had a run of some bad runs.
Right.
It was a good way to get back off the schneid.
But no question to me, Gragson and Hemrick, the 2 guys that I think you really have to kind of take your hat off to right there.
Nope, absolutely. And great, Chase Elliott, I'm back on the bandwagon. Another top 5. He's there. Kyle Busch, that 4th place finish by Kyle. Remember, last week we were talking that Kyle Busch was out of the playoffs. He put himself back in the playoffs with that good run. So he's on that cut line.
Now, we don't have a graphic for those watching on YouTube this week for our standings right now, but we really kind of been talking about how barring an upset.
Yep.
We're really down to 18 guys for 16 spots right now. And if you look at it, Chris Buescher is at the very bottom right now. I mean, he is the guy that's down there at the bottom of the cut line. Bubba Wallace and Brad Keselowski are only a couple points
2 and 4 points behind. And here's the thing. Remember, if somebody wins, there's some guys. Joey Logano he's pointed his way back in. There's still an Austin Dillon outside there. There's still some road courses coming up with some guys that could win.
Look, Cindric could go to Daytona and win.
And absolutely, and he's 50 points out.
You're talking about the road course guys. No question, we got guys that could go to the road course.
So I mean, that number could get tighter and tighter, and where it's Kyle Busch that's sitting on that line, and there's a bunch of guys battling for it. So it's absolutely going to be something there. And then the other thing you have to watch out is, remember, you got to remember the regular season points champion. Denny Hamlin talked, and Chris Gabehart talked a bunch this week on Sirius XM on NASCAR radio about they know they've missed the Final Four of the last couple of years by 1 and 2 and 3 points. They are going for playoff points. They are absolutely wanting, right now the regular season leader is Kyle Larson at 410 points. That's 15 bonus points that run through all the rounds. Kyle Larson does not have any stage wins is the difference. William Byron doesn't. Kyle Larson does. But you need those bonus points when it blows into the playoffs. That is a big, big deal because they carry over round to round.
Well, and if you're Denny Hamlin right now, I mean, you're still 49 points out of the points lead there because, I mean, he's actually third in the points right now. Martin Truex Jr. is actually second, even though Truex doesn't have a win this year, but he's been so consistent all year long. So definitely going to be some tight battles there. And like you said, if there's an upset, then everything changes.
Yep.
Well, taking a look at our upcoming schedule, this weekend we go to 1.5 mile Kansas Speedway. We're going to talk a lot more about Kansas in our final 3 segments. Then we head off to Darlington Raceway. I know that's one of your favorite places. A little break. All-Star race at North Wilkesboro,
and we will not have a show that week.
And we won't do a show for the All-Star race because it's
I
an exhibition.
I don't bet the All-Star.
And our picks.
If you want to bet the All-Star race, good luck.
Exactly. And then we go for the longest race of the year, the Coca-Cola 600, and head out for the second time ever to the St. Louis area Gateway International Raceway.
I love that track too. We won there in the trucks. That's a fun place. And with this transmission and stuff and all the shifting, it's a fun place.
And you know what I see right now is we're getting ready. These next 4 points races. I don't know that I say there is diversity, but there's not diversity, is what I'm saying. You've got 2.5 miles, 2 1.3 mile tracks. They are the intermediate ovals. Now they are all different, and we know they're different.
It's not diverse on distance, but it's diverse on style. Kansas, the old school, what they call cookie cutter. Darlington, Darlington's its own.
Darlington and Gateway are almost the exact same layout.
Maybe similar.
Gateway doesn't have the banking at Darlington. Also, we don't see the same level of tire wear.
Yes,
that we
Darlington's its own animal. It may look similar to something. It's its own animal. And Charlotte's the double dog leg oval, which is different than the Kansas, 1.5 miles. So they're all different, even though they're not diverse in distance. They're diverse in style.
Yeah. All right. When we come back on Gaughan Racing, it's going to be time. Start breaking down this weekend's AdventHealth 400 at Kansas Speedway out in the Midwest.
From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yeah.
I am beautiful.
And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
And host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock, I go,
Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind Racin sportsbooks. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sportsbook, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day.
Back into Gaughan Racing, Jeff Motley alongside Brendan Gaughan here from the beautiful South Point Studios here in lovely Las Vegas, Nevada.
Beautiful out today right now.
What's that?
Beautiful right now.
It is a beautiful day outside. That's why we're sitting here with our shorts on behind the desk. At least
desks work really well. We're talking about redoing the South Point studio, and we've talked about maybe like a couch setup. Go into the back camera so you can kind of see. Show a little leg to you, huh? Little leg.
See, I'm thinking that we don't want to sit on couches. Remember that time we had to sit on the bar stools,
over there,
Grandview Lounge?
Yeah, but look,
we showed up in shorts and
we want a new
got
feel.
mad at us.
We want a new feel in the set, but if you do the couch set, guess what that means? We can no longer do party up. We can no longer be a mullet. Business up front, party in the back. We can't do it anymore. We got to look professional.
Business everywhere.
That's right. Well, really, it's us. We're professionally unprofessional. We can show up.
That's a good point. You're right.
I mean, I just came from the gym. I got the gym shorts on, so
I'm impressed you went to the gym.
Go to the gym every day. You ready?
Really?
Yeah. Doing good.
Having fun. I need to start going with you, maybe. All right. Where are we going this week? Kansas. Yes.
Yes, Kansas. Let's talk about the win.
Kansas.
Odds to win.
One of two races at Kansas this year. This will be the first one. AdventHealth 400. And, well, there's a guy who we just keep talking about today, and that's Denny Hamlin. And there's a reason for it. No one has had as much success at Kansas Speedway among all the active drivers right now than Denny Hamlin.
4 wins in 31 races, 14 top 10. 13 of the 14 are top 5. Almost 50% of the time. That's 40% of the time, top 5. That's phenomenal. But you look at the guys that are good here. They're good here. Brad Keselowski, 50% top 10. Martin Truex Jr., over 50% top 10. Kyle Busch, just about 50% top 10. And then even go to guys without a lot of races. How about Bubba Wallace with 3 top 10s and a win in 12 races? Or Chase Elliott, 10 top 10s and a win. Kyle Larson, 18 top 10s, or 10 top 10s in 18 races and a win. There's some phenomenal guys here. These are the mile and a half that I used to love. When you're good at these places, you're really good.
And probably the most similar track we've raced on this year in Kansas is right here in Las Vegas. Yep. And we know how strong William Byron, Kyle Larson, those guys were out here.
Chevys were pretty strong.
Know how well they run. So I think that's going to be really interesting when we get to the manufacturer prop bet a little bit later on in the show. But certainly Denny Hamlin's success and the Chevrolet success on mile and a halves are going to make it very interesting. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the odds to win. And we have co-favorites at the top. We just mentioned both names. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin are both at plus 400. Tyler Reddick is plus 600. Martin Truex Jr. and William Byron at plus 800. Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, 10-1. Christopher Bell is 12-1. Ty Gibbs at 16. Alex Bowman, 18. Ross Chastain and Ryan Blaney at 20. Kyle Busch at 25. And Brad Keselowski, 40-1.
Let me give you a what have you done for me lately. Of those Denny Hamlin 4 wins, right? 3 of them in the last 10 races. 7 top 10s and top 5s in the last 10 races. Second, first, second, fourth, and fifth. If you're going the last 5. I mean, this is a guy that has been on fire at Kansas Speedway. Absolutely loves it. Average finish, 5.9 in 10 races.
That's probably about as strong as any driver at any speedway.
I mean, I'm looking down the list.
And that's both with the old car and the new car.
You look down this list. I mean, that is just super duper strong. You got a couple guys. You got a Kyle Larson with a 7.3. So he's right there with him. But that's why they are your co-favorites at plus 400.
Well, the one guy I guess maybe jumps out at me a little bit that I probably would have put at about a plus 500, and he's a plus 800 is William Byron. He may not has had as much success at Kansas, but he hasn't been horrible. But I think a plus 800 on William Byron is a pretty good value there. 2
stats for William Byron. William Byron just at Kansas has, William Byron trying to had a coffee, shouldn't have had it. William Byron is fantastic at Kansas also. He's got, I just had it and it moved, 7 top 10s in the last 10 races. But the bigger thing with William Byron is the mile and a halves. 8 top 10s, 6 top 5s, 2 wins in the mile and a halves. Average finish 6.3. That is the best in the entire Cup garage by 5 positions. So William Byron, and by the way, who was really strong this year at Las Vegas? What team?
William Byron.
Well,
the Hendrick
bunch.
Team with the
Kyle Larson won it.
Especially Larson and Byron ran well.
But you look at William Byron, what he's done this year on the mile and a half. That's super stout. I can't believe William Byron right at 800. I might actually bet a win this week just because of that.
And let's not forget, Byron may have had the best car at Dover, and his team left the thing down, dropped the jack too early. The thing was down on the ground.
On a green flag stop.
And then he got caught up in that crash with Christopher Bell and with Bubba Wallace, pretty much ended his day. But I see 8-1 on William Byron, and I think that's a very, very good value. And one guy out there, he's 12-1. I don't really know what to make right now of Christopher Bell. They run well, but man,
Snake bit.
They have been snake bit since they got that win earlier this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's you gotta. This is kind of the Christopher Bell where you gotta wait and see now, right? We're in that position. 5 top 10s, 8 top in 8 races, but you gotta wait and see what Christopher Bell you're going to get. You know, when he shows up, it's like, remember we used to talk about Alex Bowman. We still kind of talk about Alex Bowman. When Bowman shows up, Bowman shows up. When he doesn't, he doesn't. Christopher Bell is fast every week. Mistakes, his pit crew, the whole 9 yards, whatever it is, bad luck. He's got that stretch right now that it's just not good for him. So, you know, when he shows up and he's 12-1, that's pretty darn good. But
and that's the thing with Christopher Bell. You're like, oh man, I can get him at 12-1. And I mean, it's almost like feast or famine, though.
Yes,
he's either up there running right to win the race, or he ends up leaving the track early.
Alex Bowman's 18-1, and Alex Bowman has 6 top 10s last 9 races, 3 top 5s, 8.4 average finish. So there's 18-1 on when we get to top 3s. I'm absolutely going to be looking at those guys.
All right, let's take a look at some of our longer odds, and this one, because the number has me shaking my head right off the bat. A 3-time Kansas winner.
Wow. Joey
Logano, along with Chris Buescher, are both 50-1. Yes, I said that correct. Joey Logano is 50-1 at Kansas. Chris Buescher also 50. Daniel Suarez and Chase Briscoe both are at 80. And then we get into our triple digits where Michael McDowell, Noah Gregson, Carson Hocevar, and Corey Heim substituting again this week for Eric Jones, who may be back sooner rather than later, all at 100-1. Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Preece at 200, and a field bet of 20-1. 50-1.
50. Well, so here's the problem. The Fords have still, the Fords, going back to last year, we talked about this all season long. Yes, Ryan Blaney is your reigning champion. Ryan Blaney in the last round, there wasn't a single mile and a half like this to get him through. He had Martinsville. He had the races that fit to him. And Phoenix, he won the championship. Fords have absolutely been doggy-doo on the mile and a halves. I mean, they are stepping in poo-poo. They smell like caca. I don't know any other words I can use that,
Did you just roll out the thesaurus for poop?
I can. I'm trying to. I got kids. We have a lot of them. But, it's just, they're baka. One of the kids' words. Look that one up if you need to look it up, parents. The Fords just suck on the mile and a half. And when we get to the prop bet later, you're going to see what the bettors think of it, what the odds makers think of it. So that's the only reason why Joey Logano is 50-1. You look at, this year, 11th at Fort Worth, 9th at Vegas, Atlanta don't count. There's not a whole lot to shine on the mile and a halves the last couple years for the Fords.
50-1 be worth a $10 bet.
50-1 is worth a unit, though. It's Joey Logano. I mean, Logano's championship caliber, championship, former champion, Penske, all those things. But it's just the Fords have been even Ryan Blaney. Blaney in the last mile, it only has, he's got 33rd at Texas. He's got 2nd in Vegas. They still count Atlanta. That doesn't, he's the only one that's been worth anything, and it's Joey Logano's teammate. If they can figure that out, Logano 15-1 is a great bet.
All right, let's take a look at our top 3s now. Kyle Larson comes in as the top guy on the list there at plus 110. Then Denny's 115, Reddick 175, Byron and Truex at 200. Bell 225, Elliott 250, Bubba's 350, Gibbs is 400, Blaney 550, along with Chastain and Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman 600, Joey Logano plus 900, Brad Keselowski at 10-1, and Chris Buescher at 11-1.
What's fun to me is that we go from South Point odds to win to DraftKings, so we don't always have everything matching up like we used to when we only used one book. Now we're able to move around, show you how the odds kind of differ. But what I do like right here, Alex Bowman, once again, 600. Ross Chastain, 550. These are guys that are in the Chevrolet camp that have been running well, that run well at this style place. Ross Chastain, last 10 mile and a half, 4 top 5s in the last 10 mile and a half. That's pretty stout. Here's a kid that 4th in Vegas, 2nd in Texas, 5th in Vegas last year, had a bad day, crashed at Fort Worth, but was running well. Remember, he was actually competing for the win, and he crashed near the end. So I mean, I like those two numbers right there. Those are good odds on a top 3.
What do you think about Blaney at 550? I know you poo-pooed the Fords, but he got a 2nd in Vegas. And Kansas is a place that was in the playoffs last year. He had a strong run there last year in the playoffs.
Well, no, he got 3rd in Vegas. Just point that out.
3rd in Vegas.
Tyler Reddick was 2nd.
Top 3.
Yeah.
Plus 550 is a pretty good number there for a top 3.
He's the only, if I'm betting on any Ford in the field, regardless of Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, who have done, the RFK cars, who to me, in my opinion, are the better organization as a whole right now than Penske in the Ford camp. If I'm going to bet a Ford, it's Ryan Blaney at 550 in that, because it's that. But I would rather have Chase Elliott at 250, because I think Chase Elliott is on fire right now. I feel that's a much more solid bet than Ryan Blaney, which the Fords just haven't proven anything to me.
All right, well, let's take a look at some of our longer shots for top threes. Chase Briscoe is 20-1, Suarez and Gregson at 22, McDowell and Hocevar at 25, Josh Berry's 30-1, Austin Cindric, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at 50, Priest, Jimmy Johnson running again this week, and Austin Dillon all at 70, John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill at 80-1, Zane Smith, Harrison Burton, Corey LaJoie all at 100-1. Anybody on this list that think it get a top three?
For top three, I don't see the whole page. To me is just it's maybe a Chase Briscoe, a Suarez if he runs as well as Ross again. Otherwise, this whole page to me is kind of a non-starter. I mean, and Jimmy, I love Jimmy to death. We've been friends a long time. I
talked to him for a while in Dover this past week, and it's we all really like Jimmy. It just seems like that's a tough deal right now.
Team's struggling a little bit. Austin Hill in the third RCR car. Nobody on this page gets me.
Okay, we come back on Gaughan Racing. It'll be time to give you a few of our head-to-heads, and we'll start getting into our group matchups for Kansas.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rockin' dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back into Gaughan Racing. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan.
Vroom.
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 See, the people that are like watching and listening to us, they can't hear Ann behind the glass and all of her.
You can't see the off-air things,
right,
which are
the
rather
various
amusing.
sounds that come from behind the
We
glass.
have an amazing sound effect department, and it's Ann.
We do.
And she does a great job. Vroom.
She does audio graphics, visual graphics, and can do them all with her hands and her mouth. Pretty impressive. Okay. Are you okay?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Aren't we talking driver head-to-heads? Wow, we got some big numbers.
Big numbers.
Driver head-to-heads today. 2 huge numbers. Look, if you are a Bubba Wallace
fan
guy and you say, this is Bubba, because Bubba's won at Kansas.
Yes, he has.
He didn't win on a rain delay. Or
Nope, didn't back into it. He won at Kansas.
Out and won at Kansas. He's plus 140 against both Martin Truex Jr. and William Byron. who were both minus 160. The 140 against Truex, I think I like better than I do the 140 against Byron.
So do I. I agree with that 100%. And you have a Christopher Bell at 140 against Martin Truex, 120 against Martin Truex also. So Martin Truex has some big numbers up against him. What I like, there's two that I like on this.
Well, actually, we're 140 if you're watching on screen, and 120 if you're reading off our page.
There you go. Well, I go off the screen. Remember, that's what we go
off the screen. Sometimes I have to change this.
I do like the Ross Chastain 110 versus Ty Gibbs 130, and I like the Alex Bowman 110 versus Ty Gibbs 130. I know that Ty had a solid top 10 this week, that Ty is kind of righted that ship. One race, first of all, let's be honest, one race does not right a ship. Right, one race is a good direction, but he's had 3 races here. Average finish of 27. Has not had a good run here in the last 10 mile and a half. 3 top 10s, 1 top 5, and the top 10 was Homestead last year and Vegas 5th this year. So, okay, but I do like the Ross Chastain, especially like the Alex Bowman 110 after I gave you those stats on Alex earlier in the head-to-head matchup.
And even other guys, Tyler Reddick's getting a plus 115 against Kyle Larson. It's a good number. He's also plus 115 against Denny Hamlin. It's a good number.
Those are 2 hard guys to beat, though.
And didn't say Reddick finished second here?
Reddick finished second, and Reddick is also very, very strong here. Reddick is good, so I don't dislike Reddick, but it's going up against Kyle Larson or Denny Hamlin. That's a tough nut to crack.
No, you're not wrong there. Okay, let's start getting into our group matchups. We always talk about how hard Group A can be to pick. Our co-favorites, no big surprise, Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin both at plus 230. Tyler Reddick is plus 260, and a gigantic, enormous number on Martin Truex Jr. plus 390.
God, Martin Truex Jr., on mile and a half, he's 4 top 10s last 10 races. Martin Truex Jr. at Kansas, 8 top 10s last 10 races. Man, that is a big number. It's Group A. It's against the guys we've all talked about, Kyle, Denny, and Tyler. But that's enticement, right? We talk about what this is the Westgate giving us these odds. Man, that is enticing in a 4-man horse race, a 390, Jeff. If Martin Truex has a good day, here we go.
No, I don't disagree with you. The plus 390, I guess I just well, that's a better odd than he's got for a top three.
Look, you got to beat 4 guys. He probably has a better chance of getting a top 3 than beating all 3 of these guys, but that's enticing. I don't know if I'm going to bet it, but it's enticing.
All right, let's take a look over at our Group B, and William Byron is the favorite there at plus 230. Chase Elliott's plus 260, and then Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell at plus 295.
Yeah, this one right here, we've talked about Byron. We've talked about Chase Elliott. I don't like that we got the 2 teammates. We've talked about Bubba, and we've talked about Seabell. I can't pick one. This is my group we always talk about the X group, right? This is my X.
I disagree. And I'll tell you why I disagree. I don't understand by any method how William Byron is not a Group A driver at this racetrack.
Okay, I'll give you that.
When you talked about his statistics on these mile-and-a-half tracks, you're going to get me William Byron in a Group B with a number that is better than a top 3. He was plus 200, I believe, for a top 3. So plus 230 in Group B. I know it's the favorite, but 230 is still not a bad return. I really, really, really like
I will rescind my X statement because you made a valid argument to me, because the only one here, Chase Elliott, is the only, to me, X factor, where Chase is now back.
Unless you get the good Christopher Bell. Now that's the one that scares me here is the good Christopher Bell.
But Byron is one of the hottest on mile and a halves, and he's in a Chevy, and I don't dislike that. I will rescind the X on your William Byron hit, but
his confidence will be off the charts going to a place like Kansas for sure. All right, taking a look at our Group C, Ty Gibbs is the favorite there at plus 240. Alex Bowman plus 245, and our long shots are Ross Chastain and Ryan Blaney coming in at plus 295.
3-man horse race, in my opinion. Take out the Ford. I'm sorry. And then I like Ty Gibbs.
Ford did finish in the top 3 here last year.
And that's great. Congratulations.
Just saying.
And it was Blaney. So that's once again
that's why
the only Ford that I said I would even remotely think about betting on. But Bowman and Chastain to me are too strong, and Chastain at 295 is a better return. Chastain right now is just too inconsistent. That's the only fear that I have is, Chastain, he except for that one half of the one season where he was strong with a blip of bad, he's been way too roller coastery to really put money on. So I'm at Alex Bowman 245 all day long.
Well, I like the big numbers on Chastain and Blaney. I do. This group kind of scares me just a little bit. I think the Bowman pick, Bowman's another one of those guys that you kind of feel like, gosh, he runs strong, but his finishes haven't really, although you're right, he's had a couple good runs lately. So to me, Group C is a very difficult one for me to pick. That might be my throw up the X category. Now, one that I actually am very intrigued by.
Okay.
That I really just
intrigued,
like the matchup in this because it makes you pick between a tough decision here. Group D, we have 3 co-favorites: Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, and Chris Buescher
in a Ford,
Fords, and Daniel Suarez in a Chevrolet as the long shot at plus 275. So I first off want to hear your thoughts on having 3 Fords favored over a Chevrolet, and the fact that if you're going to pick somebody, you got to pick somebody in this group.
The problem is Daniel Suarez has just not been. Yes, he's locked in the playoffs, and yes, he wanted a mile and a half. Atlanta's not a mile and a half anymore. Let's be honest. Atlanta's not a mile and a half. 10, 15, 16 in his last 3 races here, Daniel Suarez. Or if you go backwards, 16, 15, 10 from most recent. I like Chris Buescher. Chris is the guy that cashes the tickets. Normally, I would say Joey Logano by far, but I think Chris has been. Well, Brad's been better than Chris this year, though. So I don't know. You're holding my feet to the fire on the Ford versus Chevy, but it's a Chevy that is not.
And that's why I said I find this group to be very intriguing. And honestly, to me, outside of Blaney, best Ford car this year is Bid Keselowski.
Yes.
And so to me,
yes,
plus 265, he's hungry. I actually like Keselowski in this group.
How's Brad done lately on the mile and a half? Let me find Brad.
Hey,
here you go. Last 10 races on mile and a half, not Kansas. Mile and a half. 2nd at Texas. 13th at Vegas. 4th at Vegas last year. 7th at Texas last year. 9th at Kansas last year. So,
and he's won here, and I understand he was driving for Penske when he won here. I like Keselowski in this group.
I gotta say, if there's against the competition that you're telling me in Group D,
that's all you got to beat is Logano, Buescher, and Suarez.
I like Keselowski. I think I'm going to make a pick in that one now. Wyatt's going to love us. Old Wyatt, got to give an old Wyatt call. Anytime we pick up Brad Keselowski, we got to give Wyatt love.
See, I had one of those picks. I thought I shouldn't have been so demonstrative on Keselowski. I probably screwed that one up for myself.
Listen, if it wins, at least you might stay positive.
Oh, that hurt. That might have been below the belt. I don't know.
No, that's below the line, but that's only right now.
Like that. Okay, let's take a look at our Group E. Another interesting category. Noah Gragson, plus 250 is the favorite here. Michael McDowell is plus 260. Carson Hocevar and Austin Dillon at plus 280. And look, there's one guy in this group who over the last few weeks has been far more consistent than the other 3.
Bingo, bango, boingo. I am super high on Carson Hocevar. I have been saying how long. That's not who I'm talking about.
I was going to say,
I've been super high on Carson Hocevar. Talking about in the Rookie of the Year, how he's been, in Group F and Group E. It's been great. Noah Gragson, the last 3 weeks, has not been a Group E team. He, honestly, in my opinion, has been the best of the Stewart-Haas cars the last 3 weeks. I think that right now you're putting him up against, look, I am not in the media. I am biased. Austin Dillon, dear friend, RCR, the whole place, love those guys to absolute death. Austin Dillon needs to figure something out. Good run, had a 10th at Talladega a couple weeks ago. That was great. Needs more. Noah Gragson at 250. That is my group lock of the week. And I picked this the first day when we got this, the odds, I zeroed in and said, oh my God, Noah Gragson, Group E, he is not running like a Group E driver.
No, I totally agree with you here. I mean, I think that, Michael McDowell, I think, honestly, I don't necessarily know what we expected out of Michael McDowell this year, but I think by his expectations and anybody's, they've been disappointing this year.
Yep.
I think we expected them to run better. Hocevar had that little 3 or 4 race run there.
He's still running better than that team's ever run. He is doing fantastic. Fantastic is top 20. I think Noah Gregson's going to have a top 10.
Yeah, and what you mentioned about Dylan is kind of like, I mean, it's just
it's frustrating.
You feel like at some point that team is going to run a little bit better, but I'm just with you right here on this one. I really think that
Noah.
I think Noah, and look. I mean, he's been at different racetracks, and he has run well on all of these different racetracks.
Last week, a lot of it was pit strategy, but guess what? That's a team sport. They used pit. Their crew chief was on point. Noah was on point. They did everything they could, and the week before, they ran great. And the week before that, they ran great. And then they had a bad race. Noah right now is Group E, not Group E caliber. Noah all the way.
And I think Noah is honestly
and not just because the Vegas thing.
Right, but Noah also is a guy who I think he needs his confidence there.
He needs emotion.
And I think right now, I think his
emotion is high.
With a lot of confidence.
Yep.
Okay, we got one segment left. We'll be back. We will talk about our Group F. We'll give you our manufacturer props, tell you how we did last week, and give you our picks for Kansas.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, 777s, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Back here on Gaughan Racing, Jeff Motley alongside Brendan Gaughan. Our final segment of today's show. We're still finishing up our group matchups for this weekend's AdventHealth 400 at Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas. A lot of Kansases in there. At least it's not the Bushy
McBush face.
Didn't they have that? That was at Kansas.
That was Kansas, wasn't it? I think it was. Bushy McBush. They're still getting play out of that.
Yeah, because it was silly.
It was awful.
But it was terrible. Yeah. So anyway,
Group F not awful though. I got somebody I like.
Group F's kind of interesting here. So Corey LaJoy, it's easy for you to say.
That's all, folks.
Corey LaJoy and Zane Smith are our co-favorites at plus 265, and then Austin Cindric and Harrison Burton both coming in at plus 270, and you seem like you've honed in on someone over there.
Yeah, here's the thing. We're talking Group F, right? We're not talking set the world on fire here. We're talking.
Got to be 3 guys.
That's right.
Only got to be 3 guys.
If I talk of 1.5 miles in the last couple of years, only one guy has a top 5, and it's Austin Cindric. And Austin Cindric is running. Harrison Burton, I'm sorry, I love the Woods brothers made a big announcement. John Wood now going to start running Woods brothers, taking over for his father. The Woods family is absolutely one of the greatest group of people. If you've ever had a chance to meet the Woods family, oh my God, they're such great people.
This is really a satellite team for Penske.
Yes, but they're not performing that way. Zane Smith,
well, I don't know. None of the Penske teams are performing.
Not done well. Corey LaJoy, has honestly to me been disappointing after last year what we saw at
Right, I
Aspire.
think we expected a little bit
and
more.
what I see out of Carson Hocevar, Corey has had
Zane Smith is actually impressed a little bit.
A little bit more than that, but Austin Cindric to me by far Group F, and I normally love a Group F. I love Cindric. That's who I got.
I like Cindric here too.
Mhm.
I really do. I'm kind of with you on that as far as when I look at the other three.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole point.
This whole thing. Look at the other three.
It's like you're not picking Austin Cindric to finish in the top 10. I'm not picking him to finish in the top 20.
Yeah.
Just picking him to beat these three guys. So I'm with you there. All right. Our manufacturer prop. Boy, they really love some Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Tyler Reddick. Toyota is minus 105. By the way, I did have a conversation with David Wilson while I was at Dover,
Okay.
and we
Talk
laughed.
about
We
Talladega.
laughed about how he says going from a goat to
Yeah,
a hero, and then he was. He was very, I don't know what the proper word would be, but he was like, that was quite an emotional roller
It had to be.
coaster.
There had to be some people in an office somewhere pulling hair and then putting it back on their head.
But very happy, and I think that the whole Toyota camp is feeling pretty positive right now, I think, because they have been running well. But Toyota's a minus 105, Chevrolet is a plus 140, and Ford plus 600.
We talk about enticement, Motley. And, man, 3-man horse race plus 600. I'm going to take, not a chance, Ford. That to me is a field bet right now. Until they've shown anything on these mile and a halves, I just can't do it. But I understand a little bit of Toyota love. I understand a 120, 140 like we've had the last couple weeks. But you're telling me I can get Chevrolet with William Byron, Kyle Larson, even Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott. Kyle Busch, who
Ross Chastain
has had better runs lately again. Ross Chastain. You're telling me I can get all those guys at plus 140? I'm sorry. I love that Chevrolet bet.
I agree with you. I like the Chevrolet prop here. I don't think I will pick this one, but I do like the Chevrolet prop here because, like you said, you've got such top guys. I mean, I don't know where you could say that the top Toyota guys are that much separated from the top Chevy guys, especially on the mile and a half.
One guy you can say right now is hot, and that's Denny. Tyler's great here.
And Truex,
Truex is great here.
Bubba's
got it.
Win
Bubba's
here.
doing better here. Got it. But still, the breadth of Hendrick Motorsports. This is the 12th race this season. Hendrick has won 6 of them, I believe. They're 50% on the season. I'm liking that plus 140.
All right. Well, we'll see how that one shakes out. I think I know one of your picks already.
Mm-hmm.
We have our graphic up, our championship odds. Not really much to talk about this week.
No, Denny's been small for a while.
Denny winning. This isn't really going to be something to talk about unless we get an upset winner.
But the only thing I need to point it out, every time we talk about this is called a future bet. To the NASCAR fans that don't understand future, you bet something now and hope you get better odds. There are still some great odds out there. Truex is 10. Your reigning champion Blaney is 12. Reddick is 14. Logano is 15. Ross Chastain. These are guys that will be in the playoffs most likely, that have massive odds that will go down later on the season. Bet them when they have high odds.
It's just a nuance in its way down that really kind of surprises me right now. Is that Daniel Suarez, who's
locked
into the
in 75-1,
has the exact same odds as Noah Gragson,
not locked in the
who
playoffs,
is way out because of the penalty that they received earlier on this year from getting into the playoffs. So,
and Alex Bowman is 60-1, and there's a guy a Hendrick car that I believe will be in the playoffs. And look, if you're at Hendrick, guess what? You have a chance to win the championship. Period. End of story. So there's a 60-1 shot that you could go bet $10 on right now, pay a lot of money that you can hedge your bet later in the season and bet against somebody else.
No, you're exactly right. All right, let's take a look at how.
Let's look at last week again. Let's look at
how we did last week. And that's
doot.
all the celebration going on over here in the Brendan Gaughan camp. I managed to get one right, but unfortunately, the one that I got right last week, everybody got right. We did not give Joey Logano the kiss of death to win Group D. He only won it by one position.
Doesn't matter.
But guess what? One position or 20 positions?
Like my daddy taught me, kicked his butt.
Cash and checks. That's all. So we all three got that pick correct, but both the pit crew and you, Brendan, both came in with other ones. You had Elliott over Bell. The pit crew had Blaney over Bell. So as soon as Bell crashed out in the third stage, you guys were pretty much ready to go to the window and get your ticket cashed.
Yeah, it was a guaranteed ticket at that point because Chris was he dead last or second to last?
I don't know, but I tell you, it was kind of funny. So first off, I have Larson to win Group A. He finishes second in the race
and loses,
but he loses his group. So it's a third week in a row that I've actually lost a group.
But I don't call that a bad beat because you picked Group A.
Group A. I agree. It was when I lost Group D to a guy finishing sixth.
When you lose Group D to a top 5 finish, okay, that's a tough one. Group A, I'm not going to give you a bad break on that.
But for you, I thought you pretty much were ready to go to the window on Stenhouse because the two of the 4 guys in that group are already out of the race.
They're already out of the race. I was like,
all Stenhouse pretty much has to do is
4 laps down.
Hold on to the steering wheel. And
the one guy's 4 laps down, the other 2 are out, and I'm like, all right, I got Stenhouse.
You lost that group, kind of like how Riley Herbst lost $100,000 on Saturday.
It was not pretty, and I was actually really pissed about that. But it doesn't matter. How's the season totals looking, Jeff? Hey, we got a season graphic. We got a season. Did they make a season graphic for us? I don't know. I don't know if they did.
Sure, there's one somewhere.
I'm sure they don't want to show it, but I'll read it to you if you want.
You are winning, and you are way up. You're 20.85 units. I'm still in the positive side. And our pit crew is gaining on
the Mendoza line.
Mendoza line, as we like to refer to
the minus 0.4. But hey, wasn't I like plus 30-something units up last year, 40-something?
This is this year, not last year.
Oh, you're right. I'm going to be ahead of that pace so far. Yeah, never mind.
Whew. You're turning into Denny Hamlin over here, calling your shot.
Calling my shot. Come on. And still giving love to the Knights, by the way. They're down 3-2, but go Knights, go.
Well, let's just hope by the time that. Well, let's see. People hear this on Sirius XM on Friday night, we don't.
Same time.
That's no.
7 p.m.
No. Well, no, the game's
at 7.
Game's at 7 here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So well, we know they'll still be down 3-2 by the time people are listening to this.
Hopefully, tying it up to 3-3.
Hopefully by next week we're talking about playing the Colorado Avalanche, but we'll see what happens. So, okay, get to our picks this week. Our pit crew gets to go first again this week.
As usual.
And they are going with Christopher Bell to win Group B, Ross Chastain to win Group C. They are all in on the two things I said. The non-Ty Gibbs picks here. They are going Ryan Blaney over Gibbs and Bowman over Gibbs. And clearly they are listening to you on the manufacturer prop as they are going with Chevy at plus 140 on the manufacturer.
I like our little note we have with it, though, Jeff. Logano 50-1 was very tempting. It says the little note on there,
and I can complain. And I think it is tempting.
I don't think it is.
Part of me that
not even enticed. Not even an inkling.
Okay, all right. My picks. I'm going to go Christopher Bell head to head against Martin Truex Jr., which is plus 120.
Okay.
By the way, we were told we go off our sheet, not off the screen.
It's been fixed now. The sheet is fixed. The screen's fixed.
And then I'm going groups for the rest of my picks. I'm going with William Byron in Group B. I'm going Brad Keselowski in Group D. Noah Gragson in Group E. And Austin Cindric in Group F.
Okay. Well, we're not going to. We are. All 3 of us this week have quite a few that are similar. So I'm hoping that the pit crew is learning by listening to me and that I'm still on fire. I had a top 3. And I scratched it out at the last second. I was going to go Bowman top 3, put my money where my mouth was. But I can't do it. I'm going to go head-to-head, Bowman versus Gibbs, just like the pit crew has. I like that 110. It's still a plus number, and I just think that Bowman is too strong at the 1.5 miles. Then I've got 3 group matchups. I'm going with Group B with Byron. You talked me into that. After I put the X on it, that was what I replaced. I had Bowman top 3. I X'd it out. I'm going Byron Group B.
You mean the guy who's beating me by 19 points is...
Did you bet go Bowman and Byron in Group B? I'm just saying. Listen, maybe you should listen to your instincts. I'm just saying. So Byron Group B. Then I'm going Group D with Brad K. Same thing as you. I just that
monkey see, monkey do.
And Noah. That was my lock. So I got to stick with the lock. And then I'm also going to end with the Chevy plus 140 because Look, I get it, but I don't get it. So I love that 140.
This is how I can't make up ground on you.
You need to not worry about making up ground. You need to worry about staying positive.
Oh, yes, Dad.
Just saying.
I feel like I'm getting a lecture
Just
here
saying.
on making my picks.
I should have picked your Byron. When that wins, I'm going to call you and go, hey, guess what? Should have picked your own.
I feel very positive. I did get a chuckle out of your text when Stenhouse crashed.
Oh,
out
I
at
was so
Dover,
mad.
though.
So mad. Never bet Stenhouse. Bet him in.
All right, what we got? About 30 seconds left in our show.
Yep.
You like Dover?
I love Dover.
Not Dover, Kansas. You like Kansas? You race at Kansas? Man?
Had
I keep forgetting where we are.
a love-hate thing with Kansas, but personal reasons. But do love that was my style track. Remember, Jeff? That was where I was the man for years on. So I do love those tracks. I do love that style, and I do love. It's probably the best mile and a half out there right now. How it's aged with that banking they put in it. Sorry, I know I love Vegas, but
Okay, I'll deal with that.
Sorry.
Okay, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week. We'll break down all things Kansas and talk about Darlington.